Hello, this is Rory with the Love Chat, and today's topic is love bombing. Now, this is video number 174. If you have a question you'd like for me to consider featuring on the Love Chat, please write it in a comment below, and if you enjoy my videos, please subscribe and hit like. Also, if you'd like to do a Skype or email coaching, just visit my website, thelovechat.net/coaching. Oh, and before I forget, I have a new book on Amazon. It's a #1 bestseller in 2 categories, which is dating and romance. The book is called Until Next Time. And if you're interested in the book, I'll leave a link in the description below. Now then, let's talk about love bombing. So, as this is a term that most of you probably have not heard of before, let's first explain what it is. Love bombing is when somebody is giving you a ridiculous amount of love, affection, and attention, and while it may appear genuine, it is typically a tool for them to get more influence or control over you. Love bombing is something that we see typically with people who happen to have some mild form of a disorder or perhaps something like narcissism. But remember that whenever we're speaking about the mind, it's always on a spectrum. It's never you do have it or you don't have it. It's everybody on earth has a little bit of narcissism. If we don't and we got caught off on the highway, we'd break down in tears. We all need that little bit of narcissism. But that doesn't mean that we are full-blown narcissists. So I think it's important to make that distinction that whenever we're talking about the mind, it's a spectrum, right? Just like autism, just like borderline personality, just like avoidant attachment. These are all things that exist along that spectrum. So when you hear the word love bombing, it's most often associated with people who are narcissistic. And the reason that that's the case is because they're using love to get a hold of you. Some common examples of love bombing, although the word itself is pretty straightforward, is when somebody, for example, says, I love you perhaps 2 or 3 weeks in, or is showering you with constant compliments or gifts. And basically, if the affection feels like something that is too much, but because you are very attracted to the person, perhaps you kind of keep your mouth closed about it and you go with it, and then eventually you're put on a pedestal that they built for you, only to later have them knock it down. The point of love bombing is control. It's not love. It's a form of psychological and emotional manipulation at its best. So if you feel that you're being love bombed, it's a very wise idea to take a step back and ask some people who are in your circle who you trust, your best friend, perhaps your mother, something like that. Hey, does this seem normal? Because I feel like I'm getting a lot of attention that maybe is unusual. So now here is the tricky part. Because when you're being love bombed, it can be hard to tell. Because many times a brand new relationship will experience a stage called puppy love. Or perhaps you've heard the psychology term, which is called limerence. And basically, you just feel obsessed, kind of infatuated with the other person, and you want to spend time with them because it's new. It's a new toy. It's a new video game. You're not used to it yet. You're still exploring it and figuring it out. And so I think that it's important to make that distinction. So let's briefly talk about limerence. Limerence, like we said, it's that puppy love stage. That should last, on average, 4 months. Seems like a fair number. Sometimes a little less, sometimes a little more, and sometimes there's cases where it goes upwards of 6 months. But I would say that if it's brand new, it's probably not love bombing, it's probably just puppy love. If the relationship is upwards of 5-6 months, it's probably love bombing. Now, is that to say that love bombing couldn't happen sooner, or even to take the place of puppy love? Not at all. That can totally happen, which is why it's important to have the people in your corner who you trust keep an eye out for you and spot things that maybe you're not seeing because you're emotionally invested in this person. So the next question that comes with this is, what's the big deal? They're showing me a lot of love and a lot of affection. That's kind of nice. What's the problem with this? The problem is never during the love bombing. It's what happens after, because they gain an intense amount of manipulation and influence over you, and later they'll use that against you. Because once they've done it enough, there's a switch that flips, and they stop love bombing you and they begin gaslighting you. And for those of you who don't know what gaslighting is, that's manipulating somebody psychologically by having them question their own sanity. So if you're upset about something, a common gaslighting response from your partner will be, you're overreacting. You're always so dramatic. Why are you doing this? Why do you always make everything bad? And that's completely designed to have you question your own sanity. You're going to stop and think to yourself, well, okay, is it me? Am I doing that? And remember, They showed you all of this love bombing, and you know this person loves and cares about you, right? And somebody who truly loves and cares about you wouldn't gaslight you. They wouldn't tell you that you're being wrong even when you're not. It's manipulation. The whole point is that it causes you to doubt yourself. That is what gaslighting and love bombing do best. They're not going to wage war on you. They're going to have you wage war on yourself. That's why it's so dangerous. The main problem with gaslighting and love bombing is that when you are so used to being love bombed and it's pulled from you, you have real trouble validating yourself again. Which is why the information that we have here is exactly what you need to be doing, both in and out of a relationship, as well as having that support group, the people who you trust to keep you successful. How do you get out of a situation where you're being love bombed and then manipulated? You just have to leave. You have to make the active choice to leave, and you have to block this person and just be done with it. Now, this isn't a situation where you want to win somebody back. This is a situation where you want to nod, tell yourself that this isn't healthy, and sometimes the healthiest thing for you is denying yourself what you want. Allow yourself, alongside your team, your best friends, your family, the people who've built you up, allow them to help you regain yourself. And if you're a victim of love bombing and you know what it's like, we'd love to hear from you. So please leave some comments below describing your situation so that others can identify and avoid being love bombed. That's all I had for today. If you found my video helpful, I'd be very grateful if you'd subscribe and hit like. Please leave a comment below and tell me what topics you want me to cover in the future. Additionally, if you'd like extra videos every week, private live streams with me, and a free copy of my book, just visit my Patreon. Patreon.com/thelovechat. Until next time.